Hey guys, glad to have you all back. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from Psycho Holiday by Pantera. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. Quick disclaimer about the tuning though. Today we're going to be learning it in standard tuning, and it was the playthrough I just did was also in standard tuning, but on the album Pantera actually tuned a quarter flat. So it's somewhere between standard tuning and E flat, or you can just think of it as standard tuning, a quarter flat there. So let's have a look at this first lick. Let's slow that down. I'm going to start off with a hammer on from open to 1 on the 3rd string, and then play open on the 2nd, then the 1st string. At the end of that, bending 3 of the 2nd string. Then I do exactly the same thing again, but instead of the 3 bend, I'm going to do a vibrato on 2 of the 2nd string. Okay, I'm going to repeat that first lick again, up into the open note. Then 3 of the 1st string. So we should have essentially the same lick 3 times with a different ending note. At the end of that, I've got a double bend from 5 of the 1st string. I'm doing it in one pick, but I'm going up and down and then up again. This is what we should have thus far. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then we'll work into this phrase, which is a very similar idea, just up the octave. So what I've got here is a hammer on from 12 to 13 on the 3rd string, and then I have a flat finger on 12 of the 2nd and the 1st string. I'm just picking through that. And like what we had over here up the octave, I'm going to play 15 on the 1st bend, and then 14 on the 2nd. So it's essentially the same phrase twice. Standing on 14 there, and then this one goes. They're very, very similar to what we had over here on 3. I've still got the same hammer on and the same flat finger, but now I'm bending 15 of the 1st string. Then when I bring it down, I'm going to play 15 of the 1st and end on 14 of the 2nd string. Let's play the second half of this whole section, and then we'll do it right from the start, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. Let's take it right from the start nice and slow, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. Keep in mind that basically this first chunk is going to take place on 15, 17, 18 on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. So we're going to start off with this lick, which is pretty fun to play. Nice and fun. I'm going to play 15, 17, 18 twice on the 3rd string. Then when I get to the 2nd string, I'm going to play 15, 17, but I'm going to jump up to the 3rd string to play 18 for that little group, and that's going to happen twice. All together. And the next thing that I do is exactly the same thing, but between the 2nd and the 1st string. So I'm going to play 15, 17, 18 on the 2nd. Then when I get to the 1st, I play 15, 17, and jump to 18 of the 2nd, and that's going to go twice as well. So all together. Okay, then after that, I work into this section, which is a little bit crazy. Let's slow that down. I'm going to start off by playing 15, 17, 18 on the 1st string, and then hitting 17 twice. At the end of that, I'm going to play 18, 17, 18, so there's another 3 notes. then it starts getting a little bit legato-y. Then from that point, what I'm doing here is hammering 17, 18, 17, 15, so that's 4 notes. Then I jump to 18 of the second string. So altogether, when things started to get a little bit cray, the next thing that I do is I'm going to play 15, 17 on the first string. Then when I hit 18, I'm going to roll backwards. At the end of that, I jump to 18 of the second string. And then to finish that off, I'm going to play 15 and an 18 bend on the first string. So it's going to go... Let's try when things get a little bit crazy, and then we'll go right back to the start of the section. All right, right from the start, and then we'll work through the crazy stretch part. Hopefully that's all making sense. So the next chunk we're going to work with is with these crazy stretches. What I want us to make a point of is that it's exactly the same shape across all 4 strings. So I'm going from the first, second, third, and fourth string, and I'm playing essentially a shape that covers 15, 18, and 22, and we're just messing with some string crossing and some legato there. So the start of that is going to play 15, 18, 22, and then when I hit 22, I'm just going to pull off to 15 again. The next thing I'm going to do is play 22 of the second, and then quickly jump back to 15 of the first. And the next thing I do is this. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 18, 22, 18, 15 all in one pick. So all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I do a very similar idea, but this time instead of picking the first 2 notes, I'm just going to roll backwards and forwards for a group of 5. So that was forwards from 15 to 22 and then backwards. I'm going to hit that note one more time, just a regular 15, and then borrow this legato phrase from the second string, 18, 22, 18, 15. So all together we should have this. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I go to 15 of the second string, so I pick that note again. Then I'm going to hammer 18 to 22 and then pull off to an open note. It sticks out like a sore thumb, but when you play it fast, if you listen to the record, it is definitely there. Okay, after that, I'm going to roll backwards and forwards a group of 5, 15, 18, 22, and then I roll backwards on the second string. Just a group of 5 there. And then I work into this phrase, which is the same across 2 strings. So what I've got here is I'm pulling off 22, 18 twice, and then pulling off to the 15, and that's my 5 notes. When I get to the 4th string, same thing there. And then to finish it off, I'm pulling off 17 to 15, and then doing sort of a bendy vibrato from 17. So let's take it from the start of the stretchy idea, and then we'll go right back to the start of the section and put it together slowly, and then again even slower with some tabs. Here we go. All right, right back to the start of the section, nice and slow, and then again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at section 3. This is going to kind of borrow some themes from section 1. So we're going to re-borrow this phrase. So I've got the same hammer on from 12 to 13 on the 3rd string, and then the flat finger covering the first 2 on 12. I've got the bend from 15 to the 2nd string, and then the idea going back to the 14 as well. So that's exactly the same as what we had before. Okay, then I go all the way up to 15 of the 1st string, so the same hammer on idea into the bend. Then I go big bend from 17, and then from there, I'm going to slide into 12 of the 2nd string, and then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. And this is going to be very similar. It's going to take up most of this section. This picking idea, I'm going to play 19 and then 14, 15 on the 1st string. Then I do a very similar idea, but I go 18, 14, 15. And then I'm going to go 17, 14, 15. So I'm just going to move that pinky back as I go through that phrase. And I'm actually going to do that 17 idea twice. So if I follow the pinky notes, it's going to be this. All together. Now the next time I do that, it's going to be a very similar idea, but I'm going to go 19, 18, 17, 18. So it's going to go like this. So if I take out all of the fiddly stuff, this is what our pinky should be doing. And then I want to do that idea again, 19, 18, 17, 18. So we're going to have two 17s at the end of the first one, and then the other one going backwards and forwards, we're going to have two of those. So all together. At the end of that, I do a big bend from 19 of the first string. So that's pretty much all of the third section. I want to play it relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, let's have a look at section 4. I would say that this is probably the hardest section just because at the start of it, the phrasing is a little bit strange. So let's take our time with it, kind of similar to what we had in section 2. I'm going to play 15, 17, 18 on the first string, and then I'm going to repeat that 17, 18 again. Then from there, I'm going to do a rolling sort of idea with legato, 17, 18, 17, 15, all in one pick. So all together. Then from there, I'm going to do a hammer on to 17 and pull off to 15. So we're going to go all together now. Okay, then from that point, I'm going to hit 18 of the second string twice and then roll back after the second 18, 17, 15. So to go. Okay, all together now from the start. From that point, I'm going to do two pull-offs from 17 to 15 on the first string. And then it goes back to 18 of the second string. I'm going to hit this one twice again. I'm going to pull that off. But this time I'm going to add another hammer on to 17 and then pull off to 15. So I'll play just that chunk slowly. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start of this section. As I said, the phrasing is pretty crazy, but practice it enough times, you will get there. So here we go from the start of the section. Okay, then from that point, I work into this phrase. Okay, so I want to start from 18 of the third string. And this is kind of working with that blue note from the G minor pentatonic. And then what I do from there, I'm going to hammer 15, 16, 15 on the second string. And then from that point, I'm going to jump back up to 18 of the third. So altogether, we're going to have this. That last note I did was back to 15 of the second. So all together now. It's getting very confusing, but let's go right back to the start again. Put it all together slowly, and then we'll add to it. Okay, then from there we go. Let's slow that down. I've got to pull off 18, 17, 15 on the second string. And then I want to jump to 18 of the third, back down to 15 of the second. So it's going to go from the next point. I've got a little weird rolling chromatic 18, 17, 15 on the third string. At the end of that. So what I've got here is a big bend from 19 of the third to 16 of the third. And then I do it again. And I'm going to end on 15. So go. So this is getting pretty silly. Let's take it from the start at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll add the sort of whammy dives. Once I've slid that back, I pull off to the open note, and then when I'm doing the whammy dive, I catch the harmonic on 5th fret of the 3rd string. And I do that twice. At the end of that, I've got a big bend from 10 of the second string, so it's a tone and a half, I think. Yeah, so you want to bend the 10th fret of the second string to the 13th fret. And then at the top of the bend, I'm going to hit some whammies as I bring this this bend down, and it's going to kind of have a triplet pulse. We're going to go bend, pineapple, pineapple, working in those triplet ideas as I'm bringing that down. So that's pretty much the whole section. Let's take it at a gentleman's pace and just keep in mind those whammy catches as well. Here we go from the start. One more time, some tabs. All right, guys, last section. This one's pretty fun. I want us to sort of think of this as a bit of an A minor pentatonic-y vibe. I'm going to start with a big bend on 20 of the second string. Then from that point, I'm doing a very similar idea twice. I'm playing 17, 20 on the first, and then a slight bend on 20 of the second. And I do a very similar idea, but I play 17, 19 on the first, and then another little cheeky 20 bend as well. From that point, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 17 of the first string, and then 19, 20 on the second. And then from that point, I've got sort of an A major arpeggio playing 17 of the second, 18 of the third, and 19 of the fourth. So it's going to go... Now, funnily enough, we go from that A on the, the 19th fret of the fourth string, and then I jump down the octave to 17 of the sixth. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. After that, I've got a bend from 22 of the second string. I bend that up a full tone and add some whammy vibrato to it. And I do the same thing from 24 of the first string. If you've been playing this whole solo up to this point with a guitar without 24 frets, but anyway, hopefully you've gotten this far and you're having a very good time. That's pretty much the whole section up into those whammied vibratos. So let's take it from the start at a gentlemanly pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo to Psycho Holiday by Pantera. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check the links in the description to my Facebook group and my Patreon. I'll catch you all very soon.